Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Come for the psychology and stay for the self-improvement. Let's jump right into it. You were born into this world without asking for permission, and no one has given you permission to leave. You are required to be resilient. There are many ways to spin this, but if we look at the raw facts, none of us have a choice when it comes to facing adversity in life. It's inevitable, and not only that, it's unavoidable. So it's better that way. The question then becomes, what's your superpower? Your response to these unavoidable stressors that inevitably arise in all our lives. What will you do when life knocks you down? And let me tell you a little secret. It will knock you down. Life doesn't care about your dreams, aspirations, or plans. In fact, it won't even ask you if you're ready. It'll just happen. So what's your superpower? Will you fall flat on your face and lie there in defeat? Or will you get back up, dust yourself off, and take the next step forward? That's why the best philosophy to adopt is to expect the unexpected. By doing so, you're preparing yourself mentally to accept whatever life throws at you without resistance. When you resist reality, it creates more suffering. But when you accept reality, you open yourself up to the possibility of adapting and recovering. Remember, the obstacle is the path, and the path is the obstacle. When we look at the word obstacle, it's made up of two separate words, ob and sta. Ob means towards, and sta means stand. When we put these two words together, we get the definition of an obstacle, something that stands in the way of progress or success. Now, I want you to think of an obstacle in your own life that seems to be keeping you from achieving your goals. Maybe it's a bad habit that you just can't seem to break. Maybe it's a fear that's holding you back from taking action. Maybe it's a person who's causing you stress. Whatever it is, I want you to visualize it as something that is standing in the way of your progress. The good news is that obstacles aren't always bad things. Sometimes they're necessary stepping stones on the path to success. For example, if you want to become an Olympic skier, you're going to have to learn how to ski first. And in order to learn how to ski, you're going to need some snow. Snow is an obstacle that stands in the way of your progress, but it's also a necessary component of skiing. In fact, it's impossible to ski without it. So in this scenario, you wouldn't want to try to avoid the snow. Instead, you would want to embrace it and use it to your advantage. This same concept can be applied to almost anything in life. Every goal that you have, every dream that you've ever had, every project that you've ever started, every milestone that you've ever achieved, it all began with a single step. A single step that was taken towards a goal, a dream, a plan, a project, or a milestone. It all begins with a single step. And that single step may not seem like much, but when you take it consistently over time, it becomes a stride, then a pace, then a run. A single step turns into unstoppable momentum. Think about it. When you break any large task into smaller tasks, you'll find that it's much easier to accomplish. The same holds true for achieving our goals and living our dreams. Take, for example, the task of cleaning your entire house. It might seem overwhelming at first, especially if you haven't cleaned in a while and it's pretty messy. But if you break the task down into smaller tasks, it suddenly doesn't seem so bad. First, you could start by just cleaning your room. Once that's done, move on to the next room. And before you know it, your entire house is clean. This is called the power of a single step. Just focus on taking one step at a time, and eventually you'll achieve your goal. Now let's apply this concept to something a little bit more abstract, like achieving your dreams or living your purpose. Let's say you've always wanted to write a book, but you're struggling to find the motivation to actually sit down and write. You can start by setting a daily word count goal of just 500 words. 500 words a day may not seem like much, but over time it adds up to a lot. In fact, if you maintain this pace, you'll end up writing over 180,000 words per year. Now imagine if you just did that consistently for the next few years. You would have written hundreds of thousands of words. That's enough to fill up several books. But here's the best part. As you continue to write, you'll start to find your groove. You'll become more motivated and inspired as you go. And before you know it, you've written your first book. The same concept can be applied to anything in life that seems overwhelming at first. Break it down into smaller tasks and focus on just taking one step at a time. Before you know it, you'll be well on your way to achieving your goal. So what's my secret to bouncing back from failure, rejection, or loss? Simple. Focus on the next step. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Just take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, even 1 second at a time if you have to. But don't dwell on the past. Don't let your thoughts consume you. Just keep moving forward. That's it. That's my secret to bouncing back from anything. It's the only thing that's gotten me through the toughest of times in my life. And it's the reason why I'm still standing today. I am not perfect. In fact, far from it. I have struggled with depression, anxiety, loneliness, and insecurity. But despite these struggles, I have found ways to overcome them and emerge stronger on the other side. It hasn't been easy. In fact, some days are harder than others. But I've learned that the key to bouncing back is to find strength in my weakness. I used to think that my weaknesses were my flaws, but now I see them as my superpowers. My struggles have made me who I am today. They've shaped me into the person I'm becoming, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. We often think of grit as a fixed trait, something that people either have or don't have. But the truth is that anyone can develop grit. It's not genetic, and it's definitely not something that you're born with. No, grit is a skill that anyone can learn and master. It's a muscle that you can train and strengthen over time. So don't ever think that you're not gritty enough or that you don't have what it takes to stick it out. You do. You have the ability to develop grit within yourself. It's already there waiting to be unlocked. All you need to do is believe in yourself and have faith in the process. Setbacks and failures are inevitable in any endeavor that's worth pursuing. The only way to achieve something truly meaningful is to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and embrace the unknown. And when you do that, you're bound to experience some bumps along the road. But that's okay. That's where grit comes in. When things get tough and you want to give up, that's when you need to dig deep inside yourself and find that inner strength. That's what separates the successful people from the non-successful people. It's the ability to push through the pain and keep going when no one else believes in you. When you find that inner strength, that's when you'll truly be unstoppable. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to show your support. We'd love to have you back for the next video.